We are joined by none other than the commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver. Very special guest. Thank you so much for joining us here at the table at halftime. First off, it's opening night. It's the inaugural season. What have you enjoyed so far?
Well, one, I got here early. I got a chance to say hello to both of you and got a tour of this new facility. And in addition to the practice facility and to see this great new arena, it's quite spectacular. I had talked to Ted through every stage, and he presented at one point to the league office and showed pictures of the area and everything else, but it exceeded all of my expectations, and it's state-of-the-art in every way. It's just a fantastic asset for the community and a great asset for both the G League and the NBA.
And when you look at, you mentioned the community, Ted has said it a lot, Zach has said it a lot, his son, Coach Christian has mentioned it, General Manager Pops Mensah-Bonsu has mentioned it, and the players as well. They have welcomed this community with open arms, and the community has welcomed them back. As you know, the go-go music in DC go hand in hand. And what have you loved from the community just in your short time here?
Well, even when in touring the arena, got a chance with Ted Leonsis to say hello to a lot of the people working here, and all of them I said, where are you from? And it was remarkable how many of the people working here live in walking distance of this arena and this complex. And I think I know there was a commitment to hire locally from not just from the DC area, but this very specific community, and they've clearly done that. And you could see the pride in the people who are here who from the neighborhood, and now both opportunity obviously to be engaged in terms of them being employed here, but also what this means for their greater community.
When you look at the G League in particular, and the fact that right now you've got more guys from the G League in the NBA than at any other time we can remember, do you see the future of the G League being bigger potentially than, say, even college basketball, because now high school kids may have some options?
Yeah, you know, Tony, it's a good question. I mean, in a way, I don't see the G League as competing directly against Division I college basketball, because, again, there's 351 programs in Division I, and there's an enormous amount of opportunity. And even though we have this select contract now for those young men who want to come directly from high school in the G League, we're not trying to compete against those college programs. I'm not telling them that we're necessarily a better destination than a top D1 program. And frankly, we're probably not. I think what we're saying, though, is there's an alternate path. You know, Condoleezza Rice made this point with her commission. President Obama gave a speech last year at MIT where he said there should be a professional path for those players who want to take it. Because look, for even the very best high school players coming in, who you know as a longtime NBA player, you had some game yourself back in the day. I mean, who knows what happens? You know, you come in and you could end up getting injured, or you just pan out. You don't pan out to be the player you think. So if you have that opportunity to get a college education, I mean, I don't want to discourage anyone from getting it. But college isn't for everyone, and there's some players who want to work on their game full time, because the opportunity is so incredible if you can make it in the NBA. So, you know, I think the G League will continue to develop these two-way contracts. Just see some of these two-way players out here tonight could clearly step on an NBA floor. I mean, look at the talent out here. And again, I think this league is increasingly demonstrating it's the next best basketball in the world after the NBA. And just now in the NBA, 25% of the league are comprised of players born outside of the United States. I think increasingly we're going to see international players who think the best path to go to the NBA is to come directly to the G League.
And you mentioned the select contract. When you look at that and you bring up, you know, NCAA, do you think that with the conversations about, do we keep the one and done, do we take it away, does it hurt or does it help the one and done conversation, and vice versa? Does the one and done conversation hurt or help this type of contract? Because if the one and done no longer exists, how does this contract help players?
Well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think it's inevitable we're going to go back to 18. And I'm sure your viewers are on both sides of the issue, just as many people in the league are. I think on balance, at this point, we should probably move in the direction of taking the best players directly out of high school, should they choose to come to the NBA. I think just given all that's going on in the environment of college basketball, and given the fact that there are a group of players now that we have the G League who want to frankly play full time, that makes sense. You know, in a way, the select contract may turn out to be an intermediate step, because in order to lower the age from 19 to 18, it requires collectively bargaining it with our Players Association. There are some other issues that are on the table. I know they have mixed feelings about it as well. So it's going to take a while to get that done. And in addition, I think even if we were to change from 19 to 18, I think we should put off that move for a few years, to allow those young men who are now, frankly, in high school, who are the elite players, to be on a different path, to know that they're coming directly in the NBA and help develop them that way. So, you know, we're going to continue to work on it. And once, if we do end up going to 18, there still may be a category of player who isn't good enough to make it directly in the NBA draft, but still thinks they are good enough and chooses, you know, again, as Condoleezza Rice and President Obama said, chooses a professional track and is saying college isn't for me, and that we will be providing that opportunity for them and helping educate them at the same time.
And a very interesting choice that people now have, gaming. Esports blew up this season. We saw the 2K League and its first season, the inaugural season. What did you like from it, and what can fans look at going into season 2?
Well, one thing I really enjoyed about it, again, and Ted and Zach Leonsis were right in the middle. They've been very involved in esports. Is that one? It's a new group of competitors. I think what surprised people, we had a draft at Madison Square Garden for this class. Yeah. I mean, they may not have been wearing Brioni, whatever our NBA players are wearing these days, but they had new suits and they were wearing ties. And for them, this was the biggest moment in their lives, that they were drafted into the NBA 2K League. And so, one, there's the professionalism of those players. I mean, they, you know, they are full-time athletes. This is just so everyone who's listening understands. This is not playing you're not John Wall in the game. You're yourself. Right. You know, you're developed as a competitor to compete in this league. And what I like about it, I think compared to some of the other esports, it is nonviolent. I mean, you know, there's a role for that.
Actual violence.
People are not shooting each other in our game. You know, it's a basketball game.
Right.
And what I also like about it is that it's the ultimate equalizer, that if you look at what it takes to make it in the NBA or the G League, frankly, you have to have a certain kind of body. You know, you don't necessarily have to be 7 feet tall, but you have to have a certain kind of athleticism, and some of it is you're born with, frankly.
Right.
I think what we're seeing with our 2K League is that any body type, you know, can compete in that league. There's nobody's saying you have to be a certain height or weight or have any certain attribute other than you have to have this dexterity to play this game.
Right.
And so I think it opens up the sport of basketball or virtual basketball just to a whole new pool of competitors.
Exactly. We thank you for your time, Commissioner.
You're getting rid of me?
It's not something that we normally. I mean, if I could just talk with you all day.
You can sit here all day.
We didn't talk about that promo.
My producer's telling me I gotta go.
You had a promo for Commissioner for the Day, so we got to talk about that. You know, I get to do it every day.
We thank you again, Adam Silver, the NBA Commissioner.